Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Valero Texas Open betting preview, outright bets, top 20 locks and bombs coming at you on this episode. I am DB, Pat Perry with me, coming off a great weekend where we hosted AK, the Listener League 2023 champion, and lovely Savannah in the landings. So before we recap a little bit of Houston, I just want to, thank you, Pat. You did a wonderful job hosting us at the landings. We played a couple good rounds of golf. We had a fantastic meal on Friday night. I know you guys had some more, another good meal on Saturday after the round. It was a lot of fun doing what we did, and it's a huge reason why people should be members in the Discord, because that is the only way you can play in the Tour Junkies weekly listener league, and the only way you could earn points into the season-long finale and have a chance to win a most expenses paid trip to either Augusta or Savannah. And it was a good weekend. I enjoyed it, buddy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now that I see myself on camera, I feel like I probably should have used a little more sunblock or sunblock in general.
At all? Yeah.
At all. A little red, a little toasty. We had great weather, that's for sure.
Weather was perfect.
Yes, it was wonderful. It's, that's the thing about sunblock. When it's like perfect and 70 degrees, you kind of feel like you don't need it as much, but you still do. You still do for all the people out there. So
we had a good time. We had AK. We had runner-up RSM Brandon meet us for the round on day 2 on Saturday. Now, we didn't pay for his stuff because he was runner-up, but we let him join the foursome. We had our boy Marcus Griffin, longtime Discord member, longtime TJ supporter. Marcus Griffin joined us for the Friday round. So we had a nice foursome both days. Got to hang out with a few listeners. Always energizing to do that. Me and AK put it on you and Marcus on Friday. Took care of you guys easily, really. Technically we only won 2-1. It should have been 3-1. But whatever. We pretty much handled you boys after the first hole. And then day 2, me and AK were kind of in control there against you and Brandon until the back 9. And if I'm honest, AK kind of took off to Michigan early. He was there and he was there in the flesh, but the golf game completely left. I was on an island. I felt like I was all alone. I felt like AK left for live, about number 12, and he never came back. So I needed him. I needed his strokes. And he kind of let me down, if I'm honest. He let me down. I wanted the sweep. I know he did too. I wanted the sweep, and we couldn't get the sweep on Pat Perry at his own home course. But so we lost.
Look, he's a Team DB guy. I kind of feel like you're throwing him under the bus a little bit, but no,
I'm not throwing him under the bus. But I expect certain performance out of a Team DB guy. And it is what it is. It's a performance review. Look, we had a great time with AK. He behaved himself for the most part. Couple questionable things on Friday night, but behaved himself for the most part. Didn't embarrass anybody. Didn't get you kicked out the club. No. It was a good time, good hang. But just if I'm the captain here, and I am of captain Team DB, then I'm just telling my guy, like, hey, back 9, day 2 at the end of it, right? Like, it's fourth quarter here, and you were nowhere to be found. AK, I needed a little bit more.
Or we just played a lot better than you guys did. So, which was
I don't really know that you guys played any different. It just became 2-on-1.
I guess I don't know. I felt like we played pretty well, and we took it and we won. And I didn't get swept. I was happy about that. Maybe
I may have to assemble a task force for next year's situation if depending on how it goes down. There's more Team Pat guys than Team DB guys, so odds are a Team Pat guy's going to win. And I'll be the villain anyway. But, I'm just saying it is what it is. And if you're a Team DB guy, you're an alpha, and you know how to take a little bit of criticism and take it like a man. You're not going to be a beta about it. You're not going to whine about it. You're not going to sulk about it. That's just how it's going to be. He's going to take it like a man. I know he is.
Well, it was a wonderful time.
It was a good time.
It was a great time.
For that reason, I didn't really watch any golf either. But apparently Steven Jager finally got it done, huh? How about it?
Yeah. I was happy to see him. Look, I mean, Scheffler had to miss a little 5-6 footer on the 18th hole or 72nd hole to get it done for Jager, but it doesn't matter. Jager got a win. Happy to see it. We've been waiting on this forever. I mean, it's like, what, 140 something starts on the PGA Tour. Finally gets a win. We've talked about him all year. Matter of fact, I was looking back at my notes. I had them written down. I didn't put them on the betting card, but I assume we talked about them. Yeah, no winner again for either one of us on the betting card, but happy for Jager. And Scheffler just continues to dominate anytime he tees it up.
Yeah, Scheffler's doing his thing. Jager, it's been kind of the last couple years with Jager have been interesting. Remember, like, I mean, he got in that spot where it just felt like the win was imminent. I remember talking about like petitioning people to say, like, stick with Steven Jager. He won all these times on the Korn Ferry Tour. He can win. He can get it done. And then he just continued to not do it, not get it done. And, I guess in the last year or so, I haven't really been a guy who's spent a lot of money on Jager. I've bet him a few times, but I don't really feel like he owes me anything at this point, or I have to have it. I had to be on it. So, I mean, for that reason, I'm okay. It does suck to yet again have another guy up there with a chance in Taylor Moore last week. He finished one shot off the lead. Taylor Moore was an option. I think you talked about Dietrich a good bit, at least on the Wednesday night show. I know we talked about Dietrich a fair amount. Nobody was going to bet Scheffler at 3-1. Toasty, God knows nobody had him. Finau, I did think Finau I came around on Finau, talked about him on the Wednesday night show, had him in some DFS lineups. Unfortunately, had him with a lot of Keith Mitchell. So that wasn't very good. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to see Jager. I mean, there's a great example of a guy who's added some distance. He's worked on his speed. It's paid off. I mean, he hit a lot of bombs last week. His average distance was way up there. I mean, his ball speed's up there. Punches his ticket to Augusta, gets the check out of the Valero this week, and we'll see him in Augusta, where it might not be a bad spot for him. I'm not saying he's going to win, but and I don't know if this is his first time. Probably is, but with the new distance, that could help him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen a lot of players go the opposite direction when they're trying to chase the distance there. And but that didn't happen for Jager. As a matter of fact, he improved, I think, in accuracy as well with the chasing of the distance. So I'd have to double check that on the stats, but was listening to a few things this morning, and they were talking about that not only has the distance improved, but also the accuracy with it. Usually you would think maybe that doesn't necessarily happen, but for Jager it has. So I think definitely Augusta could be a good place for him, and maybe this opens the door a little bit for a few more victories. He's just he's so consistent out there on tour. I mean, he's been up there a lot of times, so it is good to see.
You got to feel like, yeah, I mean, you said something there that triggered, like, to open up the door. He does feel like a guy. He's been around professional golf at a high level long enough, between the Korn Ferry Tour and winning all those times on the Korn Ferry Tour and being out on the PGA Tour as long as he has. He does feel like a guy who this really could open up a door for him, like finally getting over the hump, finally getting that first one. And he's got a lot of talent, and he has been consistent. It does seem like he could be a guy we could see rattle off another win. Maybe not this year, but in the next 12 months, would it surprise me? I don't think it would. Like, I think this first one was a big one for a guy like him who's been just patiently grinding away at it. So interesting there. And if speaking of the Masters, listen, we've got the Masters locked and loaded in Bet the Number. So if you've not already checked it out, betthenumbergolf.com is where to go, where to get it, where to see these stats, like Steven Jager's added distance and where he's ranking in accuracy now versus before he added the distance, and run your own models and check out the live leaderboard, live tournament data database and stats coming in live through that round by round. If you want to do your course research and dig deep into everything required to take down one of these golf courses week in and week out on the PGA Tour, Bet the Number has you covered. And we've got you covered with a nice discount. If you use code TJ, you get $5 off monthly or $50 off the annual memberships at Bet the Number. Great people behind the scenes at Bet the Number, running some great numbers and building a fantastic website. And it's only getting better. And the Masters data has dropped. So you can go now to bettheNumberGolf.com, sign in. You go to the course page, check out the Augusta National. They got the last 5 years of data over there. It's all been added to the player profiles. You can now run your custom model for the Masters. Bet the Number themselves already dropped their custom model. I've already built my early custom model based off what BTN said over there. And I will be dropping a course preview video for Augusta National here very, very soon, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. I will go ahead and get started onto that using Bet the Number. So check it out. By the way, if you're a Discord member and a paying Discord member, send myself or Pat a DM on Discord asking for a one-time unique code on Bet the Number, and we'll give you the biggest discount available to anyone anywhere for Bet the Number to sign up. So check that out. Thanks to Bet the Number for sponsoring the show this year. Great people, great product over there. So I'm looking forward to getting into Masters research. By the way, Masters shows are dropping this weekend. We'll get some specific times on that. Might be Sunday, might be Saturday. We'll see. But the DFS show and the betting show drops because we just had DFS prices roll out. I'm getting excited for Augusta. I know everybody else is too. It's going to be a busy week. We've got Live Miami this week. I'm going to be doing a Live preview show. I think Pat's going to try to join me, hopefully. So we'll do Live Miami from Doral there. I love Doral. It's a fun course. I've been there. I've walked it during a Live event, so I'm pumped about that. It's going to be a busy week in TJ land. So, all right, let's move on, Pat. Let's just get this out of the way. I mean, God dang it. I had Tony Finau. in the season-long bet. Now, I did say on Wednesday night, I like Tony Finau. I came around. I'm just so beat down by this. Like Monday, I was like, oh, I'll just take the guy that I love to play, and he usually screws me, and I'll just take him in the event he screws me one more time. But then come Wednesday, I was like, no, I like Finau, but so I'm hedging a little bit. I don't even remember who you had. I'm sure it didn't matter. Who'd you have?
I had Sahith. He did make the cut, but he finished C28. So.
Okay. All right. So you're basically I'm basically triple your total at this point. I've got almost 6.2 million, and you're at 2.3 million earnings for the year. Low man wins for the season-long competition. High man, which is likely to be me, will have to endure putting themselves through attending a very embarrassing and horrible live concert with someone there to document it while that's going on. So, if anybody wants to start looking at some tours going on in and around the Augusta area, I will say Columbia. I would rather not go to Atlanta, but Columbia, Greenville, where else? Savannah. I'd go to Savannah. Yeah. What's another one? I love Nashville. I go to Nashville. Those are all great music venue towns. If you guys can find a good concert for me to go ahead and start planning on in the fall, I'm sure I will. I'll be losing, so we'll plan on that. Who has the floor this week? I don't know. Who's first?
I think it's you.
Yay. Okay.
You get to go first. Yeah, DB.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we're picking a fade here we're picking a fade shorter at 30-1 or shorter in the opening odds here. This player he was 30 this morning. He is 28-1 now. And I am going to pick him because, he's lost his superpower. I don't know. Tommy Fleetwood is the guy I am going to fade. Tommy Ladd, I've never seen play here. I'm guessing he's playing here because he needs to find some form before Augusta, because it hasn't been all good for Tommy Ladd outside of the Genesis. He had at top 10, did a lot of damage putting there. But the ball striking has been bad. It's looked very unlike Tommy Ladd. I'm sure this will be the week he turns it around. I'm sure it will happen. But
I'm almost glad you're doing this. Like, Tommy might win.
But what am I to do up here? Like, what else am I to do up here than do this? Like, I could say, okay, you know who else is not really playing all that great? You know who else isn't really playing to their 20, like even who they were in 2023? I mean, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth. I'm sure I could pick any of three of those guys, but like, why would I pick those three when I have Tommy Fleetwood there, who, I'm sure he'll get his first PGA Tour win here this week. But so I don't know who else I could possibly pick that would be a better pick than Tommy Ladd. So I feel like even if this doesn't work out for me, I actually feel like this is the best move. If you think I'm
Yeah.
not blowing Tommy Ladd Fleetwood, you don't know me, sir or ma'am.
Okay.
That was in the beginning of the year. Okay, I will say that. That was the beginning of the year. I am done doing that.
Things have come full circle around here.
My Tommy radar may be off for 2024. So everyone proceed how you feel necessary to proceed. But anyway, go ahead, Pat. Was Tommy on your list?
He was not on my list, actually.
How? How was he not on your list?
Because I feel like it could be a week where it could happen for him.
How long is your list of
There's
potentials?
two people on my list.
What two people were you going to fade over Tommy Fleetwood?
One of them is who I'm picking this week, and that's Colin Morikawa. I'm fading Morikawa this week. I was probably going to fade Spieth too. I probably
If
will.
I'm honest, Spieth was my next one.
Yeah.
But that scares me because, God, I mean, there would be nothing more tilting than having Spieth in this and then watching him chip in and make putts from 84 feet and do all his magic stuff.
Well, I mean, the worst week I had this year was the first week, and that was because I had Jordan Spieth, and it was his best finish of the year. So I've kind of been staying away from him a little bit. Morikawa's been, I think I've had him before, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, look, he's one of those guys that's just, I mean, he could do anything. You don't know. But his last few events have not been very good. He's never played here, I don't think. So I'll go with that. I think there's a comparison between him and Fleetwood, actually. They're very similar when you look at like the BTN model. Like kind of, I mean, across the board, like Fleetwood's 33rd, Morikawa's 38. You know, they both played the last two events, the same last two events. They missed the cut at the API, and then Morikawa was 45th at the Players, and Fleetwood was 35th. So very similar profiles heading into this golf tournament.
Yeah, I mean, two fairly good ball strikers that are having subpar ball striking years to their standard. Morikawa, in my own model, which definitely I use BTN's model as a jumping off point. In my own model, Cal is 22nd, Fleetwood is 34th.
So a little bit of an adjustment somewhere, but still. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's a season-long update, and you know, at this point, like weeks like this just almost don't even matter for me. Like it's just all about the majors from here on out. I have to absolutely crush next week. So next week you will have the first pick.
Yeah.
I still can't decide if I like that more or not.
Well, then we get another elevated event right after the Masters. So
yeah, we get Harbor Town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. All right. Well, there we go. All right. Let's start talking. I will say that this is the least amount of names I have written down on my show rundown preparing for this. Least amount of outrights I've written down that I can remember. I'm very decided on my guys here, and I'm just kind of, there's some guys that I as I was doing the research today, like I'm close on, but I just couldn't quite get there. And I just don't have a ton of names in here, which might mean I go a little lighter this week. You know, maybe if those Texas winds blow, this place can get firm and fast and difficult. Maybe save a few for an outright live, or maybe just save it for Augusta. But I'm actually quite happy with how decisive I was today in looking through this. The weather looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like it's going to be fairly dry, a little bit of wind coming in on the weekend, but obviously something to watch as we get closer to the week. I want to shout out our friends at SoBet before we move on. SoBet code TJ gets you your first month for free. First month for $1 over there on SoBet. Home to 50+ handicapping fools. Okay, really good sports bettors on SoBet. Fantastic sports betting community on SoBet. Speaking of SoBet, our boy Marcus Griffin, who played with us on Friday, avid SoBet user, loves it. Every sport you can think of is there on SoBet. They have They have high quality handicappers betting and putting out plays with full transparency for reasons why they like the play or don't like the play, unit allocations, and then win or loss recaps on every post, every bet. Good stuff there. Also home to exclusive bets from TJ every single week, which, Pat, I put up 3 top 40 bets last week, and 2 of those 3 hit at large numbies. So we added some units to the people last week on SoBet. So check that out if you haven't already. Link is in the description. Code TJ for $1 for the first month, just to let you try it out, see what you think. They're crushing it in March Madness over there. Obviously, baseball season. They got a ton of people doing the baseball stuff and NBA action there on SoBet as well. So download it. Use the link in the description. Code TJ. And thanks to SoBet for supporting the podcast. All right, Pat, up to 30-1. Who do we like in this range? Who do you think?
Well, I know you said you don't have a ton of names. I think I've got about an average amount of names typical to what I normally have. I think, I like Fitzy this week, DB. I think Fitzy's one that, we're seeing him around 25-1, 28-1 in that range. He's played well lately. I mean, he had a top 5 at the Players, T21 in Honda. Hasn't played here in a while, or at least over the last 5 years. But certainly checking a few boxes when you look at just the way he's been putting recently. You look at, he putted amazing at the Players. Now, I do know that this course, kind of the way it plays, it doesn't seem to necessarily reward the best putters. I mean, you've got Corey Connors has won here twice. So
when it's designed by Norman and Garcia, they're going to find a way to not reward the best putters.
Yeah, I get that, but again, you look at just how he played at the Players. I think that's and Fitzy's always one of those that I think sort of seems to ramp up, getting close to the Masters, playing well. So I do like him. I like up top, it's going to be Hideki for me.
Yeah, it's tough it's tough not to be Hideki.
Yeah, I think 18-1's feels like the most solid number I've seen. I don't even know if that's changed really at all. Maybe. Have you gotten him any higher than that?
He might have been 20. No, I don't. We did the first look show this morning. I don't think he was 20. I think he's been 18.
Yeah. And so I think that's a pretty good number for Hideki. Obviously, for us in the BTN model, he's number 1. I don't know what he is total in your model.
It's 2.
So he's 2. Playing well this year, has played well on this golf course before. So Hideki at 18-1 and Fitzy are probably 2 of my favorites. And then I got to keep going with Noren. I just got to keep doing it. Why do I have to keep doing that? But I do.
Listen, Alex Noren is quite the conundrum here because, I got to say, boy, has he been less rapey since we made him the inaugural Rape Whistle Bet of the Week. He's been good. We kind of bravo to us for being early on that train.
Yeah.
And he's not currently in the Masters. I think the only way he can get in the Masters is with a win at this point. And he feels like a fantastic DFS value.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Even where he is, but he doesn't feel like that much of a value at 30-1.
No, I don't.
It feels a little rapey at 30-1 to bet that outright. And with Rory at the top, we haven't even said his name yet, but you know what I think this is? Is this one of those scenarios, Pat, where now granted, Alex Noren has never won on the PGA Tour, and he's knocked on the door a couple times, right? Is this one of those weeks where how we talk about we talk about people on X, Twitter, people on X shaming people for betting certain people, occasionally. You know how we talk about?
Oh yeah, yeah.
How there's like this, there's this contingent of people who would say you're a slappy, or you're a you're a ding dong, you're a you're a dum dum, maybe even a name that vile for even thinking that a guy like Alex Noren could win on the PGA Tour, and you bet him at 30-1. You absolute dum-dum.
Mhm.
You know, this feels like a recipe for that. This feels like a recipe for that. That if you want to bet Alex North, if you want to put him on a card, if you want to tell the people on X, my name is I'm a dum-dum and I bet Alex Norton at 30-1 this week, then you better get ready to get the hate and feel the shame all the way up until Thursday. The question is, and we've seen it happen, at the end of the week, who are the real dum-dums? Could it be the ones who called you names and, told you you were a slappy after Norton is hoisting the trophy? And then you go, you know what? 30-1 didn't feel great. But everything else was there. All signs were pointing. He's a veteran. He's been in contention before. He's felt it in his plums deep down on a Sunday. All signs were pointing to it. He had the motivation to get to Augusta. How many times have we seen this tournament produce a guy who's never won before, who wasn't in the Masters, win this event and get to Augusta? We've seen it a couple times. Hello, Corey Connors. Hello, J.J. Spawn. Hello, Andrew Landry. Huh?
I mean, potentially hello, Alex Noren. I mean, he's got all the same kind of things that those people do well. He does well. And here's the question. If you're on the side, as I have already said, I'm the dum-dum.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the dum-dum,
mm-hmm.
Do you have an out? Is it all or nothing? If Noren finishes second, are you not a dum-dum? Are you still a dum-dum because he didn't win? What level can you get to? Where is the cutoff?
I think it depends on how he finishes second and who beats him. But what if can we give him a nickname? Does he have a nickname in the Discord? You know how we give the nicknames to guys? Does Noren have a nickname?
He does not, but usually it comes out during the chat because, cocktails are flowing a little bit. It kind of gets the brain going.
If we gave him a nickname and if we had him on our cards, and we could say 30-1, whatever. But if we just gave him a nickname and just that way nobody even knew who we were talking about. They'd be like, this is a fictional character that you've put on your outright card. And then we could just say, you guys aren't aware of
guess what?
Yeah. And then if he loses, we don't even have to acknowledge anything. And if he wins, we can say, ha ha.
Yeah, I think we can get a nickname pretty easily. Now, I don't know if we can come up with a good one right this second.
Yeah, I don't have one right now. Maybe people in the YouTube comments. Oh, Tony, you got one?
This is my time to shine. I've been waiting this moment for 14 years. Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Okay. This better be good, Tony.
Oh, no. Pressure's on. If you guys don't like it, I quit. Like, I'm not. You guys can do the DFS show later.
Okay.
All right. I've been calling Alex Noren the norovirus for years.
The norovirus?
Norovirus.
What is the norovirus?
It's when you're sick. I think it's like the common cold.
Yeah.
That's not a bad name for him on the regular. So I don't mind it. However, I don't want it to be at all distinguishable that it's Noren. The NO would give it away. I want him completely. I don't want anyone to know.
Because it's like some of ours, Tony, are like Will
Tony's
Gordon.
Not in the Discord. He doesn't know.
Oh, okay. So like Will Gordon is
Taco Supreme.
It is Taco Supreme.
Honey Mustard is EVR.
Yeah. Like you would never know who those people are.
Oh, Bunny Nuts. We got Bunny Nuts.
We got Bunny Nuts.
Cam Davis. These Bunny Nuts. So like we need it like that. We need one that's
I do like the norovirus, but yeah, like DB saying, like we were just talking about them in general.
There's parameters to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if you go like A Rapey? Like A like his first initial, and then there's kind of Rapey.
What about parking garage? Let's
parking
play off of that.
Oh, like a like a
You know they have the blue light in the parking garages, so like if you like something's happening, you hit the blue light. He's like
Yeah.
the blue light or
The
something.
emergency phone.
Yeah, he's the parking deck hobo guy. Hobo. He's the garage vagabond.
He's pissing in the corner.
Yeah. So maybe we work off of that. Let's work off.
He's European, so he's got a funky accent. You could say like the parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
Play off of that a little bit, maybe.
I'm sure that's how he says it. Yeah, maybe people drop that in the YouTube comments. Give us your suggestions. What can we hide our Alex Noren play behind? Hit the like button and subscribe too while you're at it. That would be very nice of you to do. All right, maybe that's enough time on Alex Noren, but I'm kind of seeing that all take shape, Pat. I'm seeing it all take shape. Other than Hideki and Noren, for me, I will say this morning at 25-1 in the first look, we fired on Corey Connors, and I think people would make fun of you for that too. But the guy's won here twice. He clearly has a thing for this place. He checks so many boxes. He is still playing like Corey Connors right now. So, you know, like I don't think Corey Connors is a bad bet here. I really don't. 25-1. I like a lot more than I do currently at 22. And if he got any shorter than 22, I don't know that I'd love it, but I don't hate the Connors play either. I really don't. And he's going to be super chalk in DFS. So if you want any exposure to him, I think outright hammer, top 10, maybe top 20 bet, fire that. That's it for me.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the kind of this mid range here, up to 75-1. I got two names in here I like. And there were a handful of guys in here that I was really having a hard time narrowing down on the first look show. But as I dug a little deeper, and thankfully our friends at Bet the Number really give you some good data in terms of where the strokes gained approach numbers fall in those key proximity buckets here over the last 5 years. And as I looked to a couple guys who on the surface would check a lot of boxes on the approach play, but as you start looking at the ranges where they gained those strokes on approach, they looked a little less appealing. So I've landed on two guys, and one's kind of scummy, and I don't love it. And I'll just get him out of the way because I rarely bet this guy to win, and I'm not even sure that he can. But at 70-1, given his form, given how the year has gone for outright winners, I'm willing to give Aaron Rye a chance. He's 70-1 on FanDuel. I don't know that I've probably bet Aaron Rye once or twice to ever win outright in my life. So I'm not usually about it, but I mean, he's a guy who hits at average ball speed and super accurate, which I think will play really nice here off the tee. And then the approach play has been really, really good. And the around the green play and putting kind of is average or comes and goes. I don't think it's horrible. I think Rye's interesting at 70. The next guy that I like is at 35-1, and it's Harris English, the Bulldog. Played here twice, nothing really to write home about. First time he's played here since 2019, coming off a T7 at the Genesis, a T19 and T21 at the Players and API. What we know that Harris is a ball striker, great short game around the greens if he needs it, can lean on that. But I'm buying the iron play and approach play on Harris English, especially those long irons, man. He's really good with those long irons. He can attack these par fives, a couple long par threes here too. So I'm going English and Aaron Rye.
All right. Well, I have both of those out of the 5 I wrote down. So,
oh, dang. Okay.
And English also, I saw it 40-1 on BetMGM.
Even better.
3 others. 1, I never feel good about. 2, I don't know. So I'll start with Ben On. I like Ben On 35-1. Obviously having a pretty good year, almost won back at the Sony. Has played well here too. 2 top 10s here. Coming off that missed cut at the Players, I do like Ben On a lot. So 35-1 Ben On. Then Billy Horschel. Now, this is one of those two where I feel like Billy Horschel could like just win, and I'm pissed off that he wins, and so I'm just putting him on the damn card. But he has been playing really well lately. 3 out of the last 4 events, he's had top 15s. I do think what you might be thinking is, well, look at the iron play, though. Those longer irons, especially, and those buckets have not been quite as good as some of these others, right? Now, the approach play in general has been good, other than his miscut at the Players. It was really good at the Valspar, good last week, and then also his top 10 at the Cognizant was gained almost 3 strokes. So I think Billy Ho is just one of these that I'm kind of scared not to play, but I'm going to put him on there.
I mean, listen, the guy's a winner, and it does feel like he's kind of resurging right now. Like, and he's a winner. And this is not a course you have to overpower. He's average and straight off the tee. I mean, he could easily pop up and find something with the mid and long irons and be dialed. So Billy O was one of the was the last guy out for me. And I'm interested. The number similar to Noren doesn't feel great, but at least like Billy Ho, you kind of feel like, historically has been a killer when in contention. You kind of trust him a little more than most of the guys in this field.
Yeah. The other one, going off a little bit of and I think this guy is going to also be fairly high owned in DFS, is Seabass.
Yep.
I think he's going to be chalky. I've seen him. I mean, he's at, I believe, around 45 to 1 on DK, but I've seen him as long as 55 to 1. Now, he's another one, though, that I feel like could get it like Taylor Morris. Like, he's in the contention on Sunday, and he just, like you had last week, like, just falls off. But
I'm just not so sure. I'm not sure about Seabass myself. I wrestle with him. I understand why he's intriguing, but yeah.
So that's it for me, because the other ones were Harris English and Aaron Rye. Harris English is probably my favorite of these.
Ooh, okay. So some total agreement there on English. All right.
Yeah.
We've got big news on the Swannies front. We've got an extra discount for the people. Swanee said, TJ, your fans, your people are going crazy in the streets for the Swannies gear. Producer Tony was just talking about it before the show, how much he's loving his Swanee stuff. Now they're going to give us not just 25% off the entire order, but 35% off your entire order between now and Thursday at noon Eastern. This Thursday at noon Eastern. So for a little longer than, about 2 days, 2.5 days, you get 35% off your entire order, even the new stuff. They just dropped a bunch of new stuff. They got all kind of golf shorts out now. If you're getting ready for golf weather, all colors and, styles and stuff. They just got some joggers, some joggies that are lightweight and nice. Tons of new polos, some awesome hats, fresh gear for you, fresh gear for your lady if she likes to play some golf, fresh gear for your juniors if they want to play. All based right here in the U.S., shipping to U.S. and Canada, environmentally conscious company, family owned and operated. Great people there at swannies.co. Click the link in the description and use code TJ35. I already saw some folks in the Discord. Shout out Chris. Chris already put in an order from the Discord today. Folks using that code, making sure it's working, up and running, and it is. So I'm pumped about that. TJ35 now till Thursday noon Eastern at swannies.co.
This is where if you're in class, and you're listening to your professors or your teachers, and they're like saying, look, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of stuff here. Now, hopefully you do take down notes on our bets, but right now, this is when I need you to get out your pen and paper. Class, and I need you to write down TJ35. Swannies.co TJ35. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be on the test.
That's right.
And you need to go ahead and write it down. It's going to be on the test.
I'm just glad you remembered the code right there that quickly, Pat. That's good. Good. And the website, swannies.co. Good stuff. Let's get to some long range bets up to 125 to 1. I have 2 that I like. One that I'm not sure on. I'm going to start with the 2 I like. They're both the longer numbers. I've been telling people, I've been banging the drum for Victor Perez this whole season. Victor Perez is a better golfer than the books, than DFS, than the people playing DFS want to give him credit for. He is a good player. He's long, good iron play, good around the green play. He's 120 to 1 on FanDuel. Victor Perez is the real deal. Bet him. If he keeps staying these big numbers out, he'll be on my card every week. And he still plays well. Cashed the top 20 on him last week. That was easy. I mean, Perez is just he's balling. I don't know how people don't like Victor Perez after all he's done so far in 2024. And then I'm gonna jump on the old Austin Eckroat train.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, ball striking continues to be fantastic. Just won a couple weeks ago. Terrible putter. Hello, that's okay. Not a prerequisite here. And he's 100-1 on FanDuel. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but don't mind that. Also, we know Oklahoma boy, if it starts getting windy, starts getting blustery, Eckroat could do the dang thing. Young kid with a lot of confidence at the moment. So, I mean, I think Eckroat at 100 is enticing. The third one I'm going to hold off on and see what you say. So those are the two that I really like in this range, and we might talk through my third one here.
All right. Well, I'll start with KH Lee. I like KH Lee a lot this week. He's at 110-1. He's another guy that just always plays so well, and nobody ever really looks at him, but he can win. He's played well recently. T4 at the Cognizant, top 10 at Valspar. I mean, the guy and he's played well here in the past with the top 25 and the top 15. He is a pretty good putter. The iron
only won. He only won the Byron Nelson. He won twice. Didn't he win it? Did he win it twice?
I think he won it twice in a row.
Oh yeah, I think
he won it twice in a row. But he is one at 110-1 that I think you could look at. The other one you talked about last week, and this is starting to feel a little bit like
he did win it twice in a row. Okay,
I don't know. I don't know what it's feeling like, but Davis Thompson. Davis Thompson is the prettiest girl in the room that can't win. I mean, look at his stats.
I know. I've been playing.
He's a terrible putt. He's the ideal Corey Connors, like good ball striker, terrible putter. He's top 10 in the field in approach, 12th in greens and regulation. You look at that bucket on the BTN model of approach 125 to 185, top 40 in the field there. But his putting recently has been awful, other than he did gain strokes last week in Houston and had his best finish in the last 5 weeks. So I think Davis Thompson, we stay on that. We hold course with that. 90-1 is the best number I've seen there.
Yeah. He wasn't one I had written down. I've been playing Davis Thompson. I've bet Davis Thompson. I don't know. But I get it. I don't know that I like the outright. I don't feel good enough about the outright now, but I get it. He's an attractive play week in and week out.
He is. Of course, the other attractive play is EVR at 80-1.
That's the one. That was the one that I've just kind of been back and forth on. 80-1. Yeah. What is it that EVR typically does well? It's the iron play. He's got above average, way above average ball speed. Hits enough fairways, doesn't really spray it all that much. The ball striking is quite good. But he's, I don't know. He looks like he's flatlined a little bit lately, but it's not like it's super far off. What's the real difference? And the Players is a little that's just an odd course. We all know that, right?
We walked with him.
Yeah.
For 9 holes or so, and he was hitting it very well. It wasn't like it just that course you can go south so quickly, and it's hard to go back and look now that we're a few weeks out and use what you see there as something that a basis for making a pick this week.
Yeah, I mean he's really only had a few rounds where he's and actually all of his strokes gained approach loss at the Players was in round 2. He actually gained in round 1. And then the only other week where he had a bad week on approach was the Century. And that week he had 3 tough rounds. So he's had 4 rounds that were just not good. Really not good in 2024. He's played 9 events. But he's had some peak iron weeks, and he, runner up at the Cognizant, 8th in Mexico, 1 in the fall, the Worldwide Technology. 80 to 1. I don't know, and he feels like a guy confident enough to close the door, given the chance again. He's now won twice on tour. He won that Barracuda or Barbasol or whatever it was, and then he won the Worldwide Technology. He's not, he's not winning huge events, but I think EVR is enticing. All right, let's talk bombs. Over 125 to 1. I got 2, and they are disgusting, Pat. They're disgusting. But it's the only ones I really like that I can find. Now, I'm sure I'll probably stumble upon some more, but the first one is 150 to 1 FanDuel Nate Lashley. Give me Nasty Nate. We've spent some time around Nasty Nate. Let me tell you something. He is kind of nasty, and he don't care, man. He don't care. Nasty Nate is a guy in this range that if he's going toe-to-toe with, Rory, which probably won't happen, but, some other stud at the top of he don't care. He don't care. He's been out here long enough. He don't care. And he just is super boom or bust. And, he's got a T18 finish here a couple years ago. He's coming off back-to-back weeks with exceptional iron play. He hits the ball not very far, but he hits a lot of fairways, which will keep him out of trouble here. But the mid-iron and the long iron game is fantastic for Nate. So I'm going Nate Lashley at 150 to 1. And then, can't believe I'm doing this. I mean, this man literally could have won the dang Waste Management Phoenix Open. And his performance at Valero has been also pretty good. I'm going Charlie Hoffman at 170 to 1 on FanDuel. He's got a runner-up here in 2021, T22 here last year. Like I said, runner-up at Waste Management. We all remember how that went down. Missed the cut ever since, pretty much. But, I mean, dang, it just feels like it ain't the irons that are the problem. He can't hit a fairway, but you don't really, as long as he stays out of the native area here, he'll be okay. Rough's not a big deal here. I'm going Charlie Hoffman, 170 to 1. That's it. That's all I like.
I have one name written down, and it was Nate Lashley.
Oh, gosh.
One name.
Boy. Nate Lashley. There it is.
150 to 1. I like Nate.
Total agreement on Lashley. Love it. Love to see it. Can't wait for that ejection round 1. All right, let's get the top 26 pack locks and bombs, and we'll get out of here. Last week, Pat, we did quite well. We hit 3 of the locks. We hit Siwoo at plus 120. We hit Noren and Aaron Rye at plus 140. Hopefully you got those on BetMGM. Ties paid out in full. That's important. That's what we always recommend. Just know that on Mondays when we put out the numbers, BetMGM usually does not have top 20s out, so we give you the DraftKings numbers. Usually BetMGM numbers a little bit shorter, but still probably worth it. All right, let's get to it. Who are your locks, Pat?
I'm going to go with Corey Connors plus 115, and I'm going to go with Harris English at plus 165. Those will be my 2 locks.
All right. I like them both. I am going to add Noren. I had Connors and Noren written down. Noren at plus 140. Had enough discussion about him at the top of the show. So the locks are Coco, Noren, and English. And I think I know where the bomb is going to go. I'm going to say Nate Lashley at plus 450. 4 to 1 or longer for the bomb. Top 20, Nate Lashley plus 450. Did you have anything different?
No, that was the same one I had also. So
the total agreement on.
I think if we want to, we can add Hoffman because I do have Hoffman checked and favorited. I just didn't put him as a. So if we want to have a bonus with Charlie Hoffman at plus 500, we can do that.
All right, let's roll.
Okay,
let's roll Seahoff 5 to 1. All right, so the locks are Coco, Noren, English, and the bombs are Lashley and Seahoff. Disgusting, and I love it. Don't forget, Live Miami show, Augusta National Course Breakdown show coming. Masters, DFS, and betting shows drop on the weekend. We got a busy week. It's going to be a good time. See you in the Discord on Wednesday night for another great Wednesday night live chat with me and Pat. Should be fun. Thanks for watching. Drop your YouTube comment. We need a nickname for Noren. Do that. Hit like, hit subscribe, and bend over your bookies. See you. Out.